Hi there. I'm Shoshana Simons. I am introducing you to a new program that I am very excited to be offering, sponsored by Northwest Creative Expressive Arts Institute, who I have been working with since 2019, introducing narrative expressive arts therapy. This program, I'm also core faculty in expressive arts therapy at California Institute of Integral Studies, San Francisco, California, where I was the former program chair for 13 years. I've been teaching and developing a pretty specific approach to integrating narrative therapy and the expressive arts through that program and teaching hundreds of students over the years. This program is going to be a little different in that it's geared towards coaching. And I'm going to share a brief presentation with you just to introduce you into the whys of this certificate in narrative expressive arts coaching. So it's a program that will, let me start with this one actually. Why narrative arts coaching? Why would we even have a program that expands beyond therapy? Um, from my sense of in my work over the last, well, I would say 30 years, I have a background not only in therapy, and I'm not only a drama therapist, I have a PhD in human and organizational systems. And my doctoral work was in taking narrative therapy practices out into the organizational world, um, eliciting stories and preferred narratives within organizations, particularly focused on bringing forth stories from the folks who had been most marginalized within organizations for their wisdom and their skills and knowledge to be able to positively influence their communities and organizations as a whole. So I'm taking those theories and those practices and my experience of working in the therapy world to reach beyond the boundaries of expressive arts therapy into how we can apply this work in coaching situations with individuals, with groups, with communities, and with organizations. So this skill set has less to do with learning how to work with family of origin stories. And it's more working with understanding how those stories might have influenced folks and their sense of agency in the present moment, but more to do with how to work from their strengths, resources, and creativity in the present moment in order to bring forth new and preferred ways of being um, within the lives of groups, communities, and organizations, as well as working with individual coaching. So I find that one of the things that I learned in my transition out of strictly speaking the therapy world into the world of working with coaching and working with organizational systems was that when people came to consult with me as a therapist, they walked through the door, the therapy office door, right? That's what it says. That's what they signed up for. So by definition, when people came to therapy, they came in with problem narratives about themselves. I found that when I added coaching into my repertoire and worked with organizations, it could be the same folks, right? With the same kind of backgrounds that would come and consult with me. However, because they were consulting with me in a coaching role, either as an individual, as an organizational or group consultant, the narratives they brought in were different. The context shifted the way that they told their stories. And their approach was one of wanting to move more intentionally right from the get-go into their wellness, into their possible preferred futures. The shift was much quicker into moving into that terrain. And these are the ideas and practices associated with moving into wellness, with shifting into collaborative healing and helping relationships that we're going to be exploring in this training. I've included this image. This is a collective mural that came out of work with a team of caregivers that I did just a couple of weeks ago. And we went from working with narrative medicine using poetry, a poem that was written by a caregiver about the act of caregiving. We then used that poem as a springboard for this collective mural. what sustains you as caregivers? That was the prompt. And they each began individually to create the images and words that reflected what sustains them as caregivers. And then we moved from that to say, add on to each other's work, add on to each other's work. All this beautiful work was happening as we had some beautiful music playing in the background, and it culminated in them moving, circumambulating their own artwork, taking in the whole, standing on chairs and looking at it from the above down, and then having an opportunity to take that into their preferred story of how they could move from the images, from the music, from the sounds, into what this might look like in practice. So a very brief example of the terrain we would be covering in this training, in this certificate program. So what does this look like? Well, there are 3 levels in our program schedule. Level 1, which begins on Friday, February 17th. We meet until April 7th in bite-sized chunks, 3 hours on a Friday morning, 9 till noon Pacific Standard Time. We'll be covering the foundational theories and practices of narrative expressive arts coaching. In the summer, July 21st to July 23rd, we'll be having a weekend workshop. Again, it's broken down into bite-sized chunks, 3 hours on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where you'll be introduced to the collective arts practices that are associated with narrative therapy, that we have embellished with multiple arts, multiple ways of moving, doing, creating. These practices allow the wisdom of groups and communities to come forward through bringing people together who share a common challenge, common challenges to surface through these beautifully light and creative processes, new ways of moving forward and new ideas for addressing their common challenges that they can go forth and try out. This level 2 is the springboard for a practicum. So the practicum will enable participants in this program to go out and implement a collective arts practice either alone or with a peer from this program, from this training program, or possibly a peer from within your own community. You will design under supervision an event, and you'll work with an organization pro bono to implement. I put here a Tree of Life workshop. It actually might be one of the other collective arts practices that you're going to be introduced to. For example, the Laundry of Life, all will be revealed. And you'll have an opportunity to design, implement, and then collaboratively assess this class. So I'm going to stop my share here and just say a couple more things that I think are important about this program. This is a one-of-a-kind program. This is a program that is attentive to you as a student. We're attentive to your development, your skill development. You're going to see demonstrations of work. An intention that I hold is that you will feel your own narrative is held with sacredness, that it's an opportunity for you to share. This is not a mass marketing program where you're going to be with 100 other people. It'll be small enough, it will be intimate enough for you to feel seen, heard, and be a witness to others as well as witnessed yourself through some pretty beautiful arts processes. Please sign up if you're interested. Look forward to seeing you. Bye for now.